Lovers, and welcome to Picture Book Society. I'm very excited that we've gone online because now we can have as many people come to Picture Book Society as we like. I don't know about you, but I've been wondering whether it's going to snow this winter. So the book we're going to have a look at today is The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats. But as always at Picture Book Society, before we read the book, we are going to do a little creative activity. And the activity we're going to do today is cutting snowflakes out of a sheet of paper, so that even if it doesn't snow this year, we can have some fun seeing some snowflakes. So what you're going to need is a pair of scissors, a pencil, just an ordinary pencil. This one happens to be a blue coloured pencil. You might want a ruler, but it's not absolutely essential. And it's not massively easy to begin with, cutting snowflakes, but once you get the hang of it, you'll find that you really get going. Well, I did, and you don't want to stop. So you need some pieces of paper, and what we need is square paper. And as you can see, this is a piece of A4 rectangular paper, but some of you might already know this trick to turn a rectangular piece of paper into a square. What we do is take one corner and we bring it up to the top line, carefully. I hope you can see my fingers. And when we've got it in the right spot, we gently crease down the diagonal. You could always ask a grown-up to help you with this bit if you find that tricky. And then what we want to do is cut off this extra bit here so that we're just left with a triangle. So I'm carefully going to cut along this line. Again, if you wanted to, you could draw down this line with a pencil to help you be sure that you are getting the right cut. So now we've got a triangular piece, open it up, and you can see we've got a square. So a square is always made up of these two triangles. Okay, now this is quite handy because the first fold we want to do is the one we've already made. So just fold it over again into a triangle and then bring it with the point down towards you. And what we're going to do is take this corner here over to this corner here. So being careful to line it up as neatly as you can. We make that central line. Okay, now what we want to do is bring this corner over here about a third of the way along this side. So, well, that side is 21 centimetres. So 21 divided by 3 magically is 7. So I might just draw myself a little dot at 7. So 21 minus 7 is 14. I'm just going to draw myself a little dot there. And I'm going to bring from the central point that corner over to here, and then I'm going to make a crease. Then I'm going to turn the whole thing over. Oops, sorry. Sent the camera all wiggly there. I'm going to turn it over, and I am going to bring down this other corner so that this side matches up here and this side matches up here. So basically what we've done is turned our triangle into thirds. So what you should end up with is a little pointy shape like this. So now we're ready to draw the shape of one of the prongs of our snowflake, and we're going to keep it very simple for this first one. And the shape that we're going to draw is a little bit like a stick person. So I'm going to start off here with the legs and then a line up the centre for the body. We'll thicken these lines up in a minute. The key thing to remember with these snowflakes is that you need some lines to go right to this edge and some to go right to this edge, because otherwise your snowflake won't stay intact. It'll fall apart. So let's thicken up these lines. So there's our stick person's body and legs, and then I'm going to have a nice long arm going right across to this side and another one going right across to this side. And you don't need to use a ruler for this, but if you wanted to, you could. And at the top, we're not going to have a head, we're going to have 3 sort of spikes, prongs. I think they say that in real life, if you look under a microscope, every single snowflake is different. So there are millions and billions of snowflakes, but I don't know if that's one of those things that people say. I don't know whether it's true or not. Perhaps the scientists amongst you could have a look that up at some point. So we've got our funny little stick person, and now we're ready to cut. And because this is really quite a simple one, you'll see that if you look up, if you get really into this, you could look up on YouTube paper snowflakes, and you'll see that there are lots and lots of videos showing you how to make snowflakes, and some of them are much more complicated and involve more folding at the beginning. But what we're going to do is cut away the white areas, so just leaving that blue line I've made. Yours might be an ordinary pencil line. So yeah, the weather forecast the other day seemed to suggest we might get some snow, but it didn't materialise. Some parts of the country have had snow this year, I know. But it's a few years now since we've had snow at Darrell. I do remember a few years ago, for those of you that were already at school, the whole school went over to the rec to play. We had a lot of snow. I think with my son, we even travelled to school by sledge, which was fun. So you can see I'm cutting away all these bits that we don't need. And then I'll sweep those to one side. Remember, your grown-ups will be very happy if you try and keep all your loose bits on the table so that it's easier to clear up afterwards. So now we come to the exciting bit where we open up and we see if it's worked. So let's have a look. Ooh, here we go. Ooh, there's half a snowflake. Ooh, so there we go. And you can see that it's pretty symmetrical, not entirely perfect. I've got a little bit nicked out there, but that doesn't matter. I've got this quite nice star shape in the middle and then these points at the edge. And that is basically it. You can draw different patterns. So this bottom one here is the first pattern we did once we'd got the triangle. The one we've just done, which was a sort of stick person. The other one you can do is have a bit that you don't cut all along this right edge, and then you can have bits of the snowflake, some of these first two going right across to the other edge, because that'll, if you didn't have those two pieces, it wouldn't stick together. So that's two patterns you could use, but like I say, as long as it's got some pieces that go from that side right across, then it'll work. And you can start to go a bit crazy. I mean, I've made some different size ones, which I'll show you here. And what I'm planning to do, and I'll take a photo later, I'm planning to put my ones up on the window so that even if it doesn't snow this year, oh, look at this little weeny one. That's nice. I did some different patterns. As you can see, I have been making quite a lot. Well, this was a more complicated pattern which I found by watching a YouTube video. If you want them really flat, you could iron them under a tea towel. But again, get a grown-up's help if you want to do that. But they flatten out quite easily anyway. So yeah, I've gone a bit crazy with all these snowflakes. Here's another one. So I hope you enjoy it. I'd love to see some photos of your snowflakes if you do cut some. And like I say, I'll post a picture of my snowflakes on the window a bit later. And next we'll read the story. So here we are. As you can see, this book's got a lovely shiny medal that it won for its illustrations, the pictures by the author Ezra Jack Keats. And this book was published in 1962. So what's that? Nearly 20 years ago. Sorry, not 20 years, 60 years ago. The Snowy Day. One winter morning, Peter woke up and looked out the window. Snow had fallen during the night. It covered everything as far as he could see. After breakfast, he put on his snowsuit and ran outside. The snow was piled up very high along the street to make a path for walking. Crunch, crunch, crunch. His feet sank into the snow. He walked with his toes pointing out, like this. He walked with his toes pointing in, like that. Then he dragged his feet slowly to make tracks. And he found something sticking out of the snow that made a new track. It was a stick that was just right for smacking a snow-covered tree. Down fell the snow, plop, on top of Peter's head. He thought it would be fun to join the big boys in their snowball fight, but he knew he wasn't old enough. Not yet. So he made a smiling snowman. And he made angels. He pretended he was a mountain climber. He climbed up a great big tall heaping mountain of snow and slid all the way down. He picked up a handful of snow and another and still another. He packed it round and firm and put the snowball in his pocket for tomorrow. Then he went into his warm house. He told his mother all about his adventures while she took off his wet socks. And he thought and thought and thought about them. Before he got into bed, he looked in his pocket. His pocket was empty. The snowball wasn't there. He felt very sad. While he slept, he dreamed that the sun had melted all the snow away. But when he woke up, his dream was gone. The snow was still everywhere. New snow was falling. After breakfast, he called to his friend from across the hall, and they went out together into the deep, deep snow. Thanks for coming to Picture Book Society, and if you enjoyed it, which I hope you did, come back next week and we'll do another art and craft activity and read another picture book. And remember, you're never too old to read picture books.